How's it going, everyone? And as always, welcome back to Continues to Tick. Happy New Year, guys, and welcome back to Continues to Tick. We have finally made it past what has been an incredibly disturbing year, 2020, but a year that has likely changed our lives and life for us and maybe many generations to come. With all this being said, the start of a new calendar year is actually here, and by technicality, 2020 is behind us. Nice moment down memory lane. 26 subs puts a stagnant 720-ish subs into a nice perspective, but man, well, here we are. If you're here today, right now, we did it. And I hope 2021 was able to treat you well, at least in hindsight. Even if it didn't, it's technically over and now behind us. Crazy to see 2022 on the calendar year. It has arrived. And I don't know about you all, but the older I get, the quicker each year tends to go by now. And 2022 will likely only be the same. But let's not get too ahead of ourselves just yet. Too soon, right? Too soon. But 2022, another year, another opportunity to do different, be better, or just keep building on what positive momentum we have going on for us already. And I will say, being so fascinated with time, for me at least, there's always something exciting about entering a new year. A new year brings the idea of a newer and cleaner canvas, a brief moment of clarity, optimism, and the spotlight to really reflect on what it is that we've already done. Sure, last year, but more importantly, up to this moment in our lives. And with this, a moment to truly clear our minds, to really think about what it is we want to accomplish in this upcoming year, and eventually, systematically that is, with our lives also. One of the ways I see it, the start of a new year brings a nice time to focus on where we are at this point in time, and to think to ourselves, are we happy with where we are? Why or why not? Do we know where we're headed? After all, a destination without the knowledge of how to get there may lead to unforeseen and poor surprises. All this to say, Happy New Year, everyone. So, finding ourselves in the first video of the year, or first opportunity to reflect on last year's experience, I felt it'd be timely to take this week's video to share some thoughts on what I learned going through my first full calendar year of dividend investing. After all, this year on July 20th will now be the 2-year mark of this Dividend Growth Portfolio. And on August 25th, 2 years of this YouTube channel. Sure does time pass. So as we all know by now, life isn't guaranteed. Neither is getting to see this new year arrive, for example. So many people didn't get to experience this turning of the calendar year. And this known fact makes the balancing of life so difficult. I describe it often as one of life's toughest conundrums. That is, the balance of living for today, while also planning to live for your tomorrow. In saying this, one of my long-term goals and a big feature of my work on this channel is to create a strong and passive dividend growth portfolio over time. A very long-term goal of mine, and many like you, I'd imagine. My strategy, possibly similar to yours also, remains to live my life first and invest on the side. A big reason I chose dividend investing. The idea of investing for dividends creates this vision of a tomorrow without wasting too much of my day-to-day on thoughts of investing today. The 3 biggest things I learned about investing for dividends in 2021 was that 1, set an automatic funding schedule. This is critical as it allows you to truly build your portfolio regardless of market movement and regardless of our own subjective and emotional opinions, which can often be a barrier to entry more times than not. I learned that despite the so many bad times to invest, that the worst timing is not investing at all. Really. Number 2 would be to set a goal for the year. In other words, create a goal and visualize it. Put it out to yourself, put it out to the universe. Hold yourself accountable. It actually helps in accomplishing this goal. Last year, for example, was the first time I had set a goal. I set a goal to hit $40,000 for the dividend portfolio. I knew what my weekly funnel for the portfolio was, and I simply just added them together for the 52 weeks in a year. And that, plus what I had already in the portfolio to begin with, and well, That became my goal for the year, and surely, we crossed it. And not only that, we exceeded it. And I'll be doing the same thing this year. The third thing I'll mention will simply be the concept that if investing with a certain strategy, in this case dividend investing, try your absolute best to see it through for the year. Try to minimize the times you change your goals. And try to minimize the times you change your strategy. I like looking at it through the lens of driving through traffic in a multi-lane highway. It's usually the car that switches lanes the least that gets through traffic the most unaffected. Also, as counterintuitive as it may seem, it's also usually the car on the quote-unquote slow lane, all the way to the right, that outbeats the cars on the fast lane to the left. In other words, what I'm really trying to say here is take your time. You may feel the urge to change your plans in order to speed up the process. But remember, any change you make is another potential risk for a poor outcome. Sometimes it's simply better to not move more than we originally planned to, especially if we put a lot of thought and work into our original plan. Remember, a long-term goal is a long-term goal for a reason. Give it time. And how about we take this little brief moment here as a gentle reminder to like and subscribe to this video and the channel, as here we are in another year. I believe I put out a video every single week last year, and I didn't fail. Hopefully the same can be said for this year as I continue to add more and more to my plate. So here's to a new year. Here's to a new year that'll include me going to get my MSN degree. And now for the Dividend Portfolio review. If I told you the portfolio has been killing it lately, I hope you can believe me. We're currently now at $46,726.21 all time for the portfolio. And if we zoom in here, you can see this is with a 43.41% return, which equates to a total gain of $8,040.71. And if you look closer still, it gets split, showing you that the market gain alone was $7,111, and from earned total dividends up to this point of $929.57. So not quite the 1,000, but almost there. And I'm sure one thing you guys might be curious about, I know I definitely am, but it's just going back to reflect on last year's overall performance of 2021. And how did it treat me? And how did it treat this dividend growth portfolio? The first full calendar year of investing for dividends. How did this go? As you can see here, it says starting value as of December 31st of 2020 to December 31st, 2021. It shows a total return of the portfolio of 27.80%, which equates to a total gain of $7,200.80. And if we look closer still, you can see that for market gain alone, we had a gain of $6,381.97, and total earned dividends of 2021 is $818.83. And if we just zoom out here just to show you the earned dividends, it looks like the highest paid was from real estate, and tech is probably, somewhere near the bottom, third from the bottom. And then still staying in the 1 year review here, just to go down here, let's just take a look. So it looks like the only red sector that we had was actually from communications. And if we click on it, it's our AT&T, our Verizon, our Comcast, and Omnicron group actually was the only one in the green at 14% for the year. That's pretty good. And then just going back here, let's look for our biggest gainer of last year. And it looks like it is tech at 57.70%. And sure, Apple did well, but a huge caveat here is Nvidia at 141.24% gain for the year of 2021. Cisco also surprisingly at 46.55%, so it actually outbeat Apple, which is interesting. And then just to look lastly one more time, following tech, it looks like we had energy here at 39.21%, and we had our consumer discretionary, which if you're new to the channel, it's McDonald's. And then of course real estate at 39.82%. So interesting, pretty interesting. And if you're curious and you want to take a deeper look at some of the statistics from our portfolio, just as M1 nicely does, there's going to be a link down below in the description box. Just click on that and it's a link to me sharing my pie. And then now making our way further still, going into the dividend activity section for this last week. Here we are starting on December 27th, getting paid by Lockheed, Marine Corps, $4.16. And then we had a little funnel here. We had some dividend cash in the reserve, and we funneled in $34.65. And then going to December 29th, we had our $500 funnel, just like we always do. It's been our game plan since the beginning, and I'm not making any tweaks, as it'll continue to be the game plan this year. I'm going to have to pay for my online master's school out of pocket, so that's where a lot of my extra money is going to have to go to, but I think it'll pay off. But also here on December 29th, it also looks like we had another funnel of $3.22. So 34 plus 3, a $37 funnel. Not a bad way to end the year. And lastly, just to review our last week's poll question, what type of growth did you experience more of this year of 2021? Was it financial growth? Was it personal growth? It looks like the majority of people had financial growth, and quite a bit of people chipped in down below with some really nice things to share. And I agree with every single one of you. It's really not that simple to just narrow it down to 2 options, right? But I did that for a reason. Personal growth I kind of lumped together with a lot of things. For me personally, I'd have to say I had more personal growth this year. Going as a nurse through the first and second waves of COVID, that was hard. It forced me to grow in a variety of ways. Starting couples counseling with my partner, trying to really build a future of us working together. There's a lot of growth that happened there too. And just this idea of another full year in the workforce. I graduated in the fall of 2018. I started entering the workforce in the very beginnings, in about the spring of 2019. And here we are now going into 2022. So I'm still fairly new. I'm a fairly new worker in the workforce. And don't get me wrong, there's also a lot of growth to try to upload a weekly video here onto YouTube. It's challenging, but I really do enjoy it. And don't get me wrong, there definitely was some financial growth, but I think when I have to compare it to my personal growth, I don't think it compares. So that's going to be it for this week's video. And it excites me that here we are now in the new calendar year. I got to start really thinking about what it is that I want to accomplish. I kind of put some thought into it, but you know how my mind wanders. And maybe yours wanders too. So I got to set a certain structure in place here before I let it wander too much. I'm looking forward to the trips I'll be taking this year. I'm not looking forward too much to, trying to get my master's in nursing. But with the new year comes new opportunities. Sure, new opportunities to make mistakes, but new opportunities to be better. New opportunities to try to accomplish more things that we felt we lacked in the last year. And most importantly, if we made it to this point in the year, or the new year, that means we were able to make it safely through all of last year. And honestly, I think that's the most important one. And enough with my little ramble out the way, just like I always do. We made it through 7 days, and because of that, we have a high chance of making it through another 7. And I'll see you then, as always. And as always, take care.